was intrigued by that little flower. It actually has the cutting files for making these lanterns, but I was then reminded also of a request that somebody made this week for a pop-out butterfly. So I was playing with that today and thought I'd just show you really quickly how to do this. So we have, we'll start with the butterfly. I found this butterfly in the gallery, so to find that, I went over to the gallery icon, typed in butterfly, did a search, descending search, and found it on the 4th page. I wanted a really ornate, swirly kind of butterfly, and I think this is one that either Andy or Brian did for a webinar a while back. And it's on the 4th page. There we go, right here. So if you want this butterfly, you just click on download, and it's a kind of a nice design. Now if we wanted this design to pop up from a card, we could do that pretty easily. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit by typing 1. That zooms in, and then what I want to do is remove this body part of the butterfly and make it a separate piece. So to do that, I'm going to click on the knife icon on the left side of the screen and type F9 to get it, the knife, and I'm going to start my drawing down at the bottom of the butterfly. I'm going to left click, hold my mouse button, and drag right through the top part of the body, and then release, and that cuts this line. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side, decide where I want to start, left click, drag, and take the line right through where I want to disconnect the body from the wing and release the mouse, so that now if I click on the top arrow and click just on this middle piece, I'm going to send it to its own layer by clicking on the smaller of the 2 plus icons in the lower right corner. And I'm going to hide the wings for a second. Now I'm going to click on the Bezier Draw tool, left click on the bottom dot, green dot, and right click on the top green dot on both sides, left click, right click. And now I have a piece that I can use for the body, and if I want to, I could round out that a little bit, but just by moving the line, I can delete the node and then left click to select that line, right click, and convert to a line to kind of get it straighter if you want to get rid of that little bump. Or you can just delete a node. Again, I just left click to make it green, shows it's selected, then right click and convert to lines, so that I kind of got rid of the humps. You don't have to. Again, you can just select a node, right click, delete node, left click, right click, convert to line. This makes it a little smoother. I'll delete the node, left click, right click, convert to line. And now that I have that piece, I'm going to hide that and show the wings again. Now I'm not going to connect this. I'm going to leave these open. So I'm going to add another layer, and I'm going to draw in some score lines. You don't have to have score lines because you can just lift that up off the card, but you can draw in score lines. I'll click on the pen tool, and I don't want to connect the dots this time. I want to get just a little short of it because I just want some score lines. Left click, right click, then left click, and right click, just so that my lines are pretty close to the ends of those cut lines. And now just change those on the line style, change those to dash lines. So now I have some scoring lines, I have cutting lines. All this inside detail will cut out of the wings. And let me zoom back out. I will also want to have a card to cut it out of. So I can add a new layer and click on the basic shapes, and I'll get a SQ square, double click, and I'm just going to change the color of that square, maybe to a lavender, and move it to the bottom. So I want to make this big enough to cut my butterfly out of. Now if you want to do a whole card like I did, you would make this card the size that you wanted it to be, the full length, and put a score line on it. But actually right here, this will cut it like a card topper or a gift topper or whatever you want it to be, and then this will turn out like my card here. Let me zoom in a little bit. I cut out a bottom card underneath to glue this rectangle on, and then the tiny piece that I had made, I glued that on the center, and there's the design. On this one right here, I thought, oh, I like an antenna. So I just went over to hide all of it except this part, and I clicked on Bezier Draw and Fat Path, made my fat path about, I think it was 1 millimeter, I'm not sure. Left click, and then left click about how high I want the arch to be, and drag till I get that arch the way I want it, and then right click. Then I can select that, Control Shift and drag, and then just mirror and move it over, reposition it where I want it to be, and then add a little circle on the end. So I type in CI, double click, just make a little tiny circle and move it into position. It's a little bit too big still. I can hold Control Shift and drag and get another one. I misshapened it. And then just select the whole thing and weld. So that's another possibility. Any questions on that one before I move on to the flower?
No questions.
So it was very quick and simple. We've already got the butterfly in the gallery, and it's just a matter of separating the pieces. So then the flower was kind of fun. I'll show you how I did that. I'll just start on a, this is what mine looked like when I put it on a card. This is the way the cutting lines looked. There's a couple ways to do this, but I found the fastest way is I'll just start a new page here, and I turn my snapping on to 1/4 of an inch. And again, Bezier Draw. I think I'll turn my screen on to green to see a little bit better. I'm going to left click here and right click here, and it's very easy to get a perfect line because I've got the snapping on 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to take this Edit Paths tool, or node editing tool, click right at the center of that line and just push it up to, I thought I was going to push it up. Let me undo that again. I want to just push it up a ½ inch. So I'm going to push it up. I'm going to drag it right from the middle of the line, I think. Yeah. It's not wanting to go up. Why is that? Went up before. There we go. So it went right up to a ½ inch there. So I have my curve line here, and what I want to do is go to Edit, Duplicate, Rotated Duplicate, and I just played with the duplicate count until I got it to make a full circle here. I have the rotate by at 30 degrees and offset at 64 just to give me space in between each of the arches. When I like the shape, I click on Accept. Then I'm going to join them all together. Now to get the various pieces of the flower, I'm going to just start with it pretty small. Just drag it down a little bit and put it on the center. And now I'm going to go to Edit Duplicate again, but this time I'm going to use Nested Duplicate. And I only need 3 copies with a gap of about a ½ inch. And Preview, that gives me what I want. I'll click Accept. And now to get a nice alternating line, I can select every other one, click it to get the rotating handles, hold the Control key, and drag one click so that I get the points opposite the layer next to it. So I'll click the outside one and do the same, hold Control, rotate it one click. So now each of the layers is opposite. Now these are getting kind of small in the center, so what I did on those is I grabbed another circle, kind of sizing it the way I want. It's a little bit big. I'm going to take the snapping off and take it down just a little bit and send it to its own layer, hide the flower, and on this one again I'm going to use my knife and I'm going to draw right down the center of this circle and then down and across, so I have 4 pieces, and then I'm going to click on the eraser tool and drag, hold the Control and drag, that way I get a nice straight line, because I want to separate these lines. It's going too fast for me, I don't know why. I guess it's my old mouse. And now I'm going to select all of these and join them. And I'd like to rotate it a little bit so that the slits that I made are, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. So the slits are at an angle instead of top and bottom. So now I'm going to show everything, and there is my flower shape. Again, I need a base card to cut this out of, so I can just click on the basic shapes, type SQ for square, double click, and I'll send that to its own layer, resize it to, oh, let's say 5 by 5, enter. It would help if I get the right one, not the Y. So if I need to, I can join all these And then I can select everything in type S to stack them, and they're perfectly stacked. And then I get my, then I cut it out, and then I can put it on a card base. And this is what it looked like after I got it cut out. I just curled up the edges with a pencil or with a needle tool. You can curl it up as much as you like, but it's very simple.